just like the title said, this is going to be the last video on my 2009 Caliber RT. Now, I bought this used March of 2014, and for majority of that time, it's been really good up until this last year. Now, basically, about this time last year, on the way to vacation, the electronic motor that switches the intake plenum back and forth went bad. That's a cheap thing that I fixed, but then it went bad again because I used a cheap unit. So I used the Mopar one. Then started getting into some other issues. Started getting a belt noise, so I thought it was the power steering pump. Replaced that in a Neidler. Got a little bit quieter, but it still had a noise. So then I figured out it was the alternator, and I had a shop do that because that's not too fun to do on these, especially when I needed the car for a daily driver to be good to go. Then when I took it out to get inspected this year in February, subframe was rotted out like most of them do, and so basically I took it to a shop that I know the owners out at Rocco's, took them subframe, the lower control arms, sway bar end links. They did it, inspected it, it was good to go. Been driving it a few months. Now I'm getting a new front suspension noise, which I think is the driver axle because the boot's ripped. And I've basically, just in repairs in the last year, have, it's like the cost of the vehicle basically. Plus, don't know if we've got any spots. You know, we're getting some rust on the edges of the doors and the rockers. And it's also been getting a little bit small for a family of 4. Now, since this is the last video, this is the last we'll see it, I don't have anything lined up just yet. Now, to replace that, my goal is to find a mid-size SUV that's probably between 30, 35 grand, because I want to buy a new one. Because I don't know, I don't really want to deal with a used one this time for something that needs to be a daily, that I gotta pick the kids up in. Plus I want it to last longer. I mean, I know that's from 2014 and the car's a 2009, and for 90% of its life, I've had 0 issues with it, but this last year, it's got to go. I don't have anything exactly in mind yet. I kind of want something. I definitely need more trunk space. Don't get me that. I don't need to tow, and I don't want anything like a full size. Like I don't want a Durango, a Suburban, anything that big. So I'm sticking around, thinking mid-size. So I'm thinking Subaru Forester, Honda Passport, you know, those types of vehicles. My goal is to get something that's all-wheel drive that is somewhat off-road capable. I'm not going to go hardcore off-roading. I'm not going to be, you know, mudding it and all this other stuff. But I would like something so that, you know, if I'm at the beach and I want to drive on some of the, you know, go down the Outer Banks, like down to the point, down to the, you know, down to the point, drive on sand. You can kind of do that with, you know, something as simple as upgrading tires. So it's kind of eliminating some of those mid-size that are just plain crossovers. So once I figure out what I'm going to replace it with, we'll go ahead and do it. But until then, I'm going to do some research. I've been following a couple groups, seeing what owners say about them, about like the Foresters and the Passports and some of the other vehicles. Looked at a few Jeeps. Haven't test driven anything yet, but basically this guy's going to be going because it's getting a little rough and a little bit pricey to maintain since it's 11 years old now. Like you can see down here, that rocker's starting to go. But I don't know, maybe because it's sat and I don't drive it a lot because I got a work van that my work lets me take home. Maybe that contributed to some of the rust. I know those subframes are known to rust on these vehicles, but I missed the recall. Mine was past the cutoff or whatever. So hopefully within a few months, we'll reveal a new mid-size adventurer project or something. But other than that, I'm just waiting for some events not to be postponed and me not to work. So that's a little update, and that's it for the Caliber. It's the last you're going to see it. I'll end it off with a little picture of the day I first got it. So until next time.